Hey guys, Wes here. I'm going to do a rundown of all the brands of products that I use in my aquarium hobby. Now to start, I'm going to talk about water conditioner. I use Seachem Prime because it's one of the most highly regarded water conditioners in the hobby, and it's relatively cheap compared to its concentration. And it also detoxifies and removes many things, including chlorine, chloramine, ammonia, and it detoxifies nitrite and nitrate. And it's also a stress coat as well. Tithra at Green Mountain Goldfish just recently did a video comparing water conditioners and their concentration, so definitely go check that out. Next I'm going to talk about food, fish food. In my tropical tank I use Tetra Color, and I've been using it for a couple years I think. And it really has brought out the blues in my angelfish in my 20 gallon, and even if it didn't accentuate the colors of fish very much, I would still buy it anyways because it's the same price as the regular fish food. For my tropical tank I also feed them Tetra freeze-dried bloodworms because I like to give them a little bit of variation in their diet. For my 5 gallon, which should be coming soon, I bought Tetra Betamin Tropical Medley. I actually compared the ingredients of the newer Betamin to the older versions, and they've actually added a lot of different types of seafood to improve the quality of the food. So it's definitely a lot more nutritious than it used to be. And then for my goldfish, I feed them Omega-1 small sinking pellets, because it's a very relatively cheap goldfish food, and it's also very nutritious in comparison to its price. So those are all the fish foods I use. For fertilizer, I use API Leaf Zone. I haven't had super great growth in my plants, and that's because I don't think I've been using enough of this. It definitely has worked the few times that I use it. My Crypt Wendy and Crypt Sporellus have definitely taken off now that I've started to use this a little bit more. And hopefully those plants will be growing a lot more, and Sporellus hits the top of the tank pretty soon. In the goldfish tank, whenever I have to tie or glue an Anubias nana onto a rock, for example, I use Loctite Gel Super Glue. It dries very fast and it holds them on very well. For thermometers, I use these cheap little digital thermometers you can find on Amazon. If you search on Amazon, aquarium digital thermometer, you'll find about 10 different versions of the same exact thermometer. But I believe that I think I bought it under the name Sodial, S-O-D-I-A-L. But yeah, they're relatively cheap. I think I got 3 of these for under 10 bucks. So, and they're very, very precise, surprisingly, for their cheap price. For aeration, these air stones I get in a twin pack from Walmart. I think they're Aquaculture brand, and you get 2 for less than $1.50. And then the check valves that I have come with my Aquaculture air pumps that I get from Walmart as well. The 5 to 15 gallon model that I use on my 20 gallon was about $6 or $8 I think, and the 20 to 60 gallon model that I use on the goldfish tank was I think a little less than 12 bucks. So they're definitely worth the price, and if they do, you know, break for some reason, it's really cheap to just go buy another one. For algae, on the 20 gallon, I use this magnetic algae cleaner that I got from Walmart as well. I don't think this has any specific brand, but it's definitely not a mag float. But it works pretty well. If I have to scrub green spot algae, I usually just hold this in my hand and scrub really hard on the inside of the tank because I can apply a lot more pressure than the magnet can create. For planting in my 20 gallon, I just use the standard pair of tweezers because I haven't had any really finicky plants that I've had to use a really nice pair of tongs for. And for trimming, I just use these little stainless steel scissors you can get in the cosmetics department of basically any superstore that you would have around your neighborhood. Now, in this bucket, I have a few little brushes and nets and stuff that I use. I use these brushes for the intake tubes of my hang-on back filters. I got a 3-pack of these scrubbers, and I think they're Top Fin. I got them from PetSmart, and this is the medium-sized one. There's one with smaller bristles and one with larger bristles, and they work very well for cleaning out intake tubes. I use this API algae scrubber in the goldfish tank because it's really long and it's easy to get to the back and the sides, and it's a lot easier than trying to use the magnetic algae cleaner. This really small net, I believe, is probably either aquaculture or Top Fin because I got it with my 10-gallon, I think, that I had a long time ago. This little bit larger one is definitely Top Fin because I bought this when I needed to scoop out a gourami, I think, maybe. And this was really cheap too at PetSmart. And I'm pretty sure this is either API or Top Fin, but I believe this is a 6-inch net that I very seldom have to use for my goldfish. And then the bucket itself is, I'm guessing, probably a Sterilite bucket. It's a 10-quart bucket, and I use it for doing water changes on my 20-gallon, along with this nylon hose that I just got at, Home Depot or Menards or something like that. And it's a very easy way of doing water changes, and I find it to be a lot easier than trying to use a water changer, which is what I'm going to get to next. I bought the 25-foot Python water changer on Amazon when I first got my goldfish tank, and it's very well made and it hasn't broken so far. And I just have this little piece of netting that I used on the end so the fish don't get sucked up if I walk away, and that's just from a bag of glass marbles that I bought to put in the goldfish tank a long time ago. This is some miscellaneous stuff. I use Morning Glory Low Loft quilt padding for polishing my water, and this is enough quilt padding to fill a king or queen size comforter, which is a lot, and I got this for like $7 I think on Amazon, so it's definitely cheaper than any actual filter floss that you would buy at a pet store. And then I just got this bucket recently actually. I'm going to use it to sterilize a big order of plants that I just bought, and it's a 12-quart bucket, and I marked it bleach because I use bleach to sterilize plants, and I'm going to use this bucket only for bleaching plants so I don't accidentally get bleach in my aquarium from using the same bucket that I use for water changes. Now I'm just going to briefly talk about the things that are off camera right now. My filters are all the same model. I use one AquaClear 50 on the 20-gallon, and I use 2 of them on the goldfish tank. And they are excellent filters. They're very efficient. They have uncanny media to water contact. They fit a lot of media. I personally don't use carbon, but you could fit carbon in there. You can fit your Biomax, your sponge, and even your quilt padding to polish your water. I use the same brand light fixtures on both my tanks. I use the 24-inch model Aquatic Life T5 on the 20-gallon, and I use the 36-inch model Aquatic Life T5 on the goldfish tank, and they both work really well. They both came in one piece, especially the bulbs. I was very glad to see that they came in one piece, and they've definitely worked wonders on my plants. For heaters, in the goldfish tank, I have a 300-watt AquaTop heater. I believe they call them like GH300, and that's worked very well. I got a really high wattage because I wanted it to keep up with changing water temperatures during water changes, and it definitely has. In the 20-gallon, I have a mystery 100-watt heater right now that I'm using as backup, but my brand new Eheim Jaeger heater should be coming soon. I just recently learned that it's pronounced Jaeger, not Jagger, but it's a 100-watt true temp thermostat heater, and hopefully that's going to work really well so I can calibrate it nice and precisely. I think that's all the products I use. All my plants I get from Planted Aquariums Central, and I praise them in all the videos that I ever do anything with plants. And I think I have a few Java Fern that might be from PetSmart in the top fin plastic tubes. But, oh yeah, I do have a few stick-on thermometers on both my tanks. I have 2 stick-on thermometers on the goldfish tank, and I believe those are aquaculture, or aquaculture I mean. And I have a stick-on thermometer on the 20-gallon that is a Marineland that came with it when I bought it as a tank kit a long time ago. But I don't use those anymore, and like I mentioned, I have a digital thermometer like this on each of my tanks, and that's my spare that I use for water changes. And I think that's all the products I use, except for maybe the miscellaneous power strips and things like that. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. I always appreciate it. And definitely leave any comments of what things you use in your tanks, and any general feedback is always appreciated. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.